You close a door. That tiny click does something huge. It says, "Not now." Now take the door away. Take away the bedroom. Take away the lock. Take away the private bubble you call normal. Now sit beside a fire with 30 people. People sleeping nearby. People eating nearby. People arguing nearby. People noticing when you are sick, angry, jealous, embarrassed, or just tired of being seen. Now add the part that makes the question uncomfortable. Two adults still need a private bond. Families still have to form. Arguments still have to cool down. Someone still needs a moment that does not belong to the whole group. But the group is right there, 3 steps away, listening without trying to listen, seeing without trying to stare. For much of human life, there may not have been a room where the group stopped. No hallway, no closed door, no easy escape. So here is the uncomfortable question. If ancient humans had no bedrooms, no locks, and no real way to disappear from the group, how did private life happen at all? How did couples get a moment? How did families form? How did anyone get space without walking away from the people who kept them alive? The cheap answer is they had no privacy, but that is too simple. It misses the strangest part. The first answer is not a bedroom, and that is why the story gets more interesting instead of less. It is distance, darkness, timing, attention, and the quiet social trick of everyone pretending not to notice. Ancient humans probably did not have privacy like we do, but they may have had something more fragile: negotiated privacy, not a room, a system. Start with the pressure. Imagine two adults wanting to talk without the whole camp turning it into public business. Imagine a couple needing a private bond while other people sleep close enough to hear a whisper. Today, after an argument, you can leave the room. In a small camp, the argument might still sit beside the same fire. Even silence could become public. That is why the question is psychological. Humans need groups. But humans also need boundaries, and those two needs fight each other. Being close to the group meant warmth, food sharing, protection, and help. But it also meant being known. Your mood had witnesses. Your mistakes had witnesses. Your private conversations had a short travel distance. So the real ancient problem was not, how do I vanish forever? That would be dangerous. The problem was, how do I get enough privacy without leaving the group? And the weirdest possibility is this: the strongest wall may not have been a wall at all. It may have been other people's restraint. But before that invisible wall can work, you need the practical tools. One answer was distance. Step away from the center of camp, and fewer eyes are on you. Move beyond the brightest firelight, and the group gets softer behind you. A tree, a rock, a bend in the land, or the edge of camp could change the social feeling. Not perfect privacy, enough privacy. But distance had a price. Too close, and everyone is in your life. Too far, and you lose warmth, safety, and help. Modern solitude can feel peaceful. Deep prehistoric solitude could mean danger. Privacy was probably not about getting away. It was about getting away enough. Night was another tool. At noon, small actions stand out. At night, the fire shrinks the world. Voices drop. A small movement can become background. Darkness was not a bedroom, but it could act like one thin layer of cover. Timing worked the same way. You wait until fewer people are awake. You talk when others are busy. You choose the edge instead of the center. These are basic human tactics. And then there is the strangest tool: everyone else. In a crowded life, privacy may depend on what people agree not to notice. That sounds weak until you realize you already live inside it. Sit on a bus with strangers. They can see you and hear you, but most of the time, you still feel a little private because people follow invisible rules. Do not stare. Do not read over shoulders. Do not jump into every conversation. Do not turn every human moment into a public event. When someone breaks those rules, you feel it instantly. The wall was invisible, but it was real. Now imagine a camp version of that. Not the exact same rules. We cannot reconstruct one ancient group's private customs, but the idea matters. Privacy can be physical. It can also be social. Sometimes the wall is made of wood. Sometimes the wall is made of everyone deciding to look at the fire. And that is where the evidence gets interesting. If privacy can be social, then doors are not the only clue. We should look for organized space, hearth zones, and repeated behavior. The evidence has to stay careful. Recent hunter-gatherers are not living fossils. They are modern people with their own histories. But they show that human life does not need private bedrooms to have social boundaries. Researchers studying forager groups have described intimate shared space in everyday life. That does not mean every ancient group worked the same way. Our bedroom model is not the only human model. Archaeology gives another clue. Ancient domestic spaces were not random piles of people. Around hearths, people lived, slept, prepared food, repaired tools, and learned. At sites like Sibudu, spatial data can show organized use of space over time. That does not prove ancient privacy rules, but it pushes against the dumbest version of the story, that everyone simply lived in total social chaos. Ancient people did not need our doors to understand interruption, distance, or the feeling of needing a moment. They had moods, attraction, conflict, exhaustion, shame, pride, fear, and the need to not be handled by the group every second. So yes, the family question matters, not because we need to turn ancient life into a dirty joke, because families require more than survival. They require bonds, they require trust. They require small private moments where people are not just workers, hunters, parents, helpers, or members of the group. They are people with a relationship the group does not fully own. That is the emotional center. No rooms, no locks, no easy escape. And still, humans found ways to make private moments possible. Maybe by stepping away, maybe by waiting, maybe by lowering their voices, maybe by using darkness. Maybe by relying on the oldest social trick in the world. Everybody knows, and everybody pretends not to know. Modern life still runs on it. Your door is useful, but the door is not privacy by itself. The object helps. The social rule does the rest. And that creates the final twist. Today, you may have more walls than any ancient human ever had, but you may also be more watched. Your room has a door. Your phone has a screen. Your searches, messages, cameras, location, and habits can leak into the world. So maybe ancient privacy was not primitive. Maybe it was just different. They had fewer walls, but their boundaries had to be negotiated face to face. We have more doors, but we also have more invisible eyes. So did ancient humans have privacy? Not the kind you get when you close a bedroom door, but probably some kind of boundary, enough to talk, enough to cool down, enough to form bonds, enough to belong without being swallowed by the group. No rooms did not mean no private life. It meant privacy had to be built from whatever humans had before doors: distance, darkness, timing, attention, and the quiet agreement that not everything needs to be seen. And if that makes your own closed door feel less powerful than it did 10 minutes ago, stay with old brain. The next strange question is always the same. How many things we call modern were never really new?